Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Every day, studies show that we think around 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts. Most of those thoughts are the same ones we had yesterday, and tomorrow, unless something changes, we will think the same thoughts again. Now ask yourself this: are these thoughts hurting me or they are helping me? Are these thoughts building the future that I want or chaining me to the past that I fear? Because here's the truth: your thoughts are not passive, they are seeds. Every thought plants something: stress, peace, anxiety, confidence, creativity, or doubt. If you constantly think, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, I'm unlucky, or things never work out for me, you're programming your brain to look for more evidence of that. And the brain is a very loyal servant. What you repeatedly think, it turns into belief. What you believe, it turns into behavior. What you behave becomes your identity, and your identity becomes your life. Let's talk about RAS, Reticular Activating System. It's a filter in your brain that decides what information is important. For example, have you ever wanted a certain car and suddenly you see it everywhere? That car didn't multiply overnight. Your RAS simply started noticing it. Your mind works the same way with success, failure, opportunities, or problems. If you think the world is against you, your brain will highlight every moment that proves you right. If you think you are capable, strong, and guided, your brain will bring your attention to opportunities that match that identity. In other words, whatever you consistently think, your mind looks for more of it. Not because it's magic, but because your brain is designed to make your thoughts real. There's a loop that governs human behavior. Let's say you wake up thinking, I'm not good at anything. Now, that thought creates a feeling, maybe sadness or low energy. That feeling impacts your action. You avoid challenges, you procrastinate. Your lack of action creates a result. You fail or you stay stuck. That result reinforces the belief. See, I knew I wasn't good, and the cycle continues. Here's the incredible part: you can break the loop at any point. You can change the thought. Changing the thought changes the feeling. Changing the feeling changes the action. Changing the action changes the result. And eventually, the belief changes. This is why one small shift in thinking can transform an entire life. Now, the question comes that if becoming what we think is so powerful, then why do so many people think negatively? Because our brain has evolved for survival, it watches for threats, dangers, and potential failures. But today, that same instinct is keeping us small. It whispers, be careful, don't dream too big, don't try, don't risk embarrassment. The world we live in no longer requires us to hide, shrink, or play it safe to survive. But our brain still behaves as if every challenge is out to get us. You are not failing because you're incapable. You're failing because your mind hasn't been trained. Most people run a mental program that they didn't choose. Thoughts installed by parents, teachers, society, trauma, or fear. But here's the truth: you wrote none of the code, but you can rewrite all of it. Your imagination is very powerful. When you imagine a better version of yourself, you are literally designing the blueprint of your life. Your mind doesn't know the difference between a real event and an imagined one. That's why visualization improves performances in athletes, in business, and even in healing. The moment you repeatedly imagine success, confidence, and action, your brain begins wiring for it. You become what you imagine, you become what you dwell on, you become what you think. Now let's get practical. How do you actually change the thoughts that shape your life? There are three powerful steps. First is awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. Start by observing your thoughts without judgment. When you catch a negative thought, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me or hurting me? Most people don't think their thoughts think them. Awareness is taking back the control. Your second step would be to replace a negative thought with a more empowering one. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I am getting better every day. Instead of I can't do this, say I am learning how. You're not lying to yourself, you're choosing a better direction. The third step would be the repetition. Repetition is key. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition. Repeat a thought long enough and your brain will adopt it as truth. Think of it like this. An old negative thought is a well worn path in the forest. A new empowering thought is the fresh trail. The more you walk the new trail, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, the old path grows over and the new path becomes who you are. Each one of us is living inside a story about who we are, what we deserve, and what is possible for us. But here's the secret, your story is just a thought that you've been repeating for years. If you tell yourself the story of a victim, you will live like a victim. If you tell yourself the story of a survivor, you will live like a survivor. If you tell yourself the story of a creator, you will create. Ask yourself, what story have I been telling myself? And what story do I want to tell from now on? Remember, you might not be able to control everything in your life because that's what it is, life, but you can always control the reaction. You can always control the story. Imagine the version of you that you want to become. Not someday, not when life is easier, not when you have more money or more time or more confidence. Right now, at this moment, who is that person? How do they think? How do they speak? How do they act? What habits do they have? What beliefs? Whatever your answers are, start thinking like that person today. Because the moment you adopt the thoughts of your future self, you begin becoming that person. Your life will always rise or fall based on the quality of your thoughts. So choose the thoughts that pull you forward, thoughts that empower you, thoughts that build you, thoughts that align with the life you want for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you don't become what you wish, you don't become what you want, you become who you are, you become what you think. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline begins with thought. Before you wake up early, you think early. Before you work hard, you think strong. Before you stay consistent, you think long term. Strong people don't have easier lives, they have stronger internal conversations. They don't say, I feel like quitting. They say, I don't quit. That single thought changes everything. Pain is not the enemy, negative thinking is. Failure is not proof that you're weak, it's proof that you tried. Strong minds don't say this is happening to me, they say this is happening for me. Every day, be careful of what you consume. Be intentional with your thoughts. Speak strength. Visualize progress. Act even when it's uncomfortable. Your future is built in ordinary moments with extraordinary thinking. Most people don't change because they confuse feelings with truth. They say, I don't feel confident, so I am not. I don't feel motivated, so I am not. I don't feel ready, so I'll wait. But the feelings are temporary. Thoughts repeated become permanent. You don't wait for belief to act, you act until the belief is created. Confidence isn't something you have, it is something you build through repeated thought and action. Ever wonder why negative thinking feels so real? Negative thoughts feel powerful because they are familiar. Your brain likes what it knows, even if it's painful and limiting. That's why growth feels uncomfortable, because your mind is leaving the familiar. But discomfort is not danger, it is direction. Every time you choose a better thought, you are training your brain for a new future. We tell ourselves the lie of one day. One day I'll start, one day I'll change, one day I'll be confident. One day is a lie the mind tells itself to stay comfortable. Growth doesn't start one day, it starts with one decision. Right now, in this moment, with one single thought. Your inner voice should sound like a coach, not a critic. Not you're terrible, but try again. Not you failed, but you learned. You don't need to be harsh to grow, you just need to be consistent. Speak to yourself with strength, not cruelty. You don't need massive confidence, you need daily belief. You don't need huge motivation, you just need consistent direction. Small positive thoughts repeated daily will outperform massive motivation once a month. Consistency will always beat intensity every time. There will be days when you feel tired, when you will feel behind, when you will feel like quitting is reasonable. But those days, your thoughts will matter the most because when life is easy, anybody can think positive. But when life is hard, your thinking determines your character. Say this not just once, but daily. I am becoming stronger. I am disciplined. I finish what I start. I can improve. I don't quit. You don't wait to believe these. You repeat them until they become true, until they become your identity. You are always becoming something. And this is truth that no one can escape. If you don't choose growth, you choose stagnation. If you don't choose discipline, you choose regret. If you don't choose belief, you're choosing limitation. Neutral doesn't exist. Limiting beliefs are the ones which hold us from achieving our greater potential. And those beliefs are not true, but we believe it to be true and we keep small, we keep doubting ourselves. Why the possibility of us making it seems so foreign to us that we start doubting ourselves, that we start believing those limiting beliefs. And don't be afraid to fail because failure is not the enemy. The real enemy is the meaning you attach to failure. For some people, failure means I'm not enough, but for some people, it means that I am becoming stronger. Pain doesn't decide your future, your interpretation does. Strong people are not fearless, they are just trained thinkers, they are not afraid to fail. Never compare your journey with someone else's because comparison destroys more dreams than failure ever will. When you compare, you ignore your progress. You minimize your effort and you poison your thoughts. Someone else's success is not the proof of your failure. Different path, different timing. Focus on becoming better than yesterday, not better than someone else. That thought alone can change everything. People say if my situation changed, I'd change, or if my life was easier, I'd be better. But listen, two people can stand in the same storm, one gives up, one grows stronger. Same environment, different thoughts. Your mindset is more powerful than your circumstances. That's why changing your thinking changes your direction, even when nothing else changes yet. Your self talk is very important. Whether you realize it or not, it's shaping who you become. Self talk is not just words, it's instruction. And whatever instructions your mind receives repeatedly, your life begins to follow. Self talk is a habit, and habits can be trained. Every day, speak to yourself with intention. Encourage effort, not perfection. Correct yourself without insulting yourself. You would never talk to someone you care about the way you talk to yourself. So, why accept it internally? Your mind hears everything. Your self talk should point forward, like, I am becoming stronger, I am improving, I won't give up. Say it calmly and consistently. One day, your life will reflect your inner voice, your confidence, your courage, your limits. All of it begins with how you speak to yourself. So be careful with your words because you're always listening. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. It is a famous quote by Napoleon Hill. It just emphasizes that clear visualization, strong belief, and consistent action are crucial for realizing any goal, whether positive or negative, by harnessing the brain's powerful ability to manifest the thoughts into reality. What you think today, you live tomorrow. So choose your thoughts carefully. They are becoming your life. What you think, you become. If this message spoke to you, if something here made you pause, don't let it end here. This channel exists to strengthen your mind, your self talk, and your belief in who you can become. And if you want reminders like this, reminders to think stronger, speak kinder to yourself, and keep moving forward, then please subscribe. Not for the algorithm, but for you. Don't forget what you are capable of on the days when it's hard to remember. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep choosing better thoughts.